Colin Deputy Sean Kenny, who's 5 minutes.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach, and I welcome the opportunity to speak on the spring statement. The spring economic statement is not next year's budget and does not contain the sort of detail or specifics that will be contained in a government budget. It is a picture of the Irish economy at this point in time, spring 2015. It is about stating where we are now as an economy and how that compares to where we have come from. It is about stating about where we want to go as an economy and as a society. The spring statement is a first step that indicates the government's strategy for managing the economy until the year 2020 and making the most of the economic upturn that is thankfully underway, so that opportunities for our people, our society and our economy can be fully maximised. However, the economic upswing is at a point where the government has the economic flexibility to change and improve some of the things that people would like to see. As legislators, we can't always implement all the things we'd like to. We simply do not have the resources to do that. The government in the next budget will have between 1.2 billion and 1.5 billion, which can be used in a sensible and sustainable way given the strength of the performance of the economy at the moment. So we must manage this extra 1.5 billion, and public debate will be held in full public view in the National Economic Dialogue, which will take place in Dublin Castle in the early summer. I must admit, Cathaoirleach, when I returned to the Dáil in 2011 after over a decade of being away, I wondered exactly what we would be seeing in 2015. Would things be as dark as they were in 2011, or would things be better? And indeed, I'm very happy to say that things are better, much better than they were in 2011. The Department of Finance is now predicting a 4% growth in the economy this year. If this prediction is met, Ireland will once again rate as the fastest growing economy in the European Union. Consumer spending is up, business investment is up, our national debt as a percentage of gross domestic product is falling fast. Our economic targets have been exceeded. Most importantly, employment is continuing to rise and unemployment continues to fall. In the last budget, the government reduced the marginal rate of tax for people earning less than 70,000 and raised the level of income at which the marginal tax rate is payable. This will, broadly speaking, continue to be the approach in terms of the taxation package for 2016. Low and middle income earners will continue to be the priority, continuing to remove the low paid out of the universal social charge net and progressively lowering taxes for those on middle incomes. We will also implement an increase in the national minimum wage if that is what is recommended by the Low Pay Commission. The crisis we had greatly reduced the scope to improve services. It was a case of really protecting as best we possibly could the services we had while fighting to regain our economic sovereignty. In this year's budget, we made provision for more nurses, more teachers and more special needs assistants. We are also recruiting new Gardaí for the first time since the collapse of the economy. All this has come about as a new way of managing our economic policy. The old-style Fianna Fáil way of spending and splurging on an unsustainable boom and then cutting drastically when the boom stopped, that had to cease. I remember when I was a member of this House in the 1990s and when the Rainbow Coalition at the time got the economy back on track. Indeed, I remember after that when Fianna Fáil took over power in 1997, and by the time they had to give up the reins in 2011, they had made such a disaster of the economy. The Troika of the European Central Bank, the European Commission and the IMF had to be called in. Now this government, Cathaoirleach, thankfully has seen off the Troika. It has seen off the reckless Fianna Fáil economic model as well. The new economic model is one of prudence and forward planning. As for Sinn Féin, I believe that despite their protestations to the contrary, they know and understand what the government is doing. They are in government in the north of Ireland and they know what it is to govern. They know what it is like to have to make cuts because they do so. They are implementing cuts made by the Tory government governing from Westminster, and they're getting on with it without a protest at what they're expected to do as members of the devolved assembly. The political approach of Sinn Féin is to propose one set of policies in the 26 counties while implementing the exact opposite in the 6 counties. Our country is in a much better place than it was 4 years ago when this government took office. Despite the positivity, the recovery is not yet fully secure. There may be setbacks, whether at home or abroad. We would like to think that is not going to happen, and hopefully it will not. But it might, and a good government will be prepared for it. Fianna Fáil never were prepared for it, and I do not believe that Sinn Féin would be either. This country needs stable government and a responsible management of our economy. It needs parties in government who, even if there are bumps on the road at some points, are able and willing to face up to the social challenges of our time. We do not need and cannot afford the instability and mismanagement that would be inevitable if Fianna Fáil and Sinn Féin were in government. Thank you.
Thank you very much.